Let's talk about Palantir Technologies, stock symbol PLTR. This is a stock that took a massive hit today. And you're seeing that across the broad spectrum of tech-related stocks and high momentum gainers of late. You saw it with SoFi, you saw it with Robinhood, you saw it with NVIDIA, Broadcom, the whole slew of stocks that have just been the backbone of this market rally and of speculation in general. So what I want to do in this video is I want to go over Palantir Technologies, look at what are we looking for in terms of support? How far could it pull back? Where are the key levels to watch for a potential bounce at? That's what we're going to go over in this video. So let's go ahead and get started on that right now. Looking at PLTR. We had this beautiful channel here going all the way back to August of last year, right? And things looked orderly. It looked like it was just going to go, stair-stepping its way higher. And then it took off, had some massive gains. And this channel still remained relevant. And the reason why I'm bringing up this channel from a long time ago is that I still think it's relevant. And I'm about to tell you exactly why I think it's relevant. This channel has been bounced off of, especially the upper channel band, on multiple occasions. So you have this bounce right here, goes all the way up, comes back down, bounces off of it again, and then comes back down and tests the lower channel band. And then that's where we had the April lows that were established. And from there, it just went all sorts of bonkers, going almost all the way up to $200, like $189, $190 and change. From there, you had this rising trend line that started off with the April trend line. That got broken today. So that's a big, glaring problem for the stock. You broke below the rising trend line. That's not a good look there. You also have some other key support levels that we were watching. This level right here acted as resistance in the past. And then from earnings, it gapped above it. And now we're trading back not only below the rising trend line, but also this rising support level here. Now, where it gets a little bit more interesting is this support level here. So you have support going all the way back to the highs of February. And this is a little bit more of your unorthodox support level. But you also had a high that it attaches itself to from June. And then it pulled back and tested it again on August 1st. And here we are again testing that support level. So this white line will be a key level going into tomorrow and for the rest of this week. Can it do three things? Test it, which it's already doing. Can it hold it? So far it's holding. And then can it develop a bounce after that? Now, you don't want to assume that it's going to bounce. Don't look at this chart and say, oh, this is a great time to buy it because it's testing. In technical analysis, just because support is testing doesn't mean it has to hold. Just like resistance doesn't have to hold and push back on a stock. That's why we have breakout plays. Because when we play breakouts, resistance is breaking, and you're playing that breakout for a momentum to the upside. In the same way with breakdowns, when support is violated, oftentimes people will play the short side and try to ride that momentum even lower. So don't look at this white line here of support and say, oh, this is going to hold, because we don't know that yet. We need to see the three things of it: testing, holding, and bouncing. Bouncing obviously being the most important because that validates or confirms that it's trying to hold its own right here and start to move higher. So that's what it looks like here in the short term. That's what I'm watching in the medium term. But let's look at it from a little bit more of a long-term standpoint. And this is where we have to really keep our wits about ourselves, because we see a pullback of 9%, and that's not normal. I get that, the stock has moved in quite huge ways, but anytime you have a 9% pullback on a stock that's as big as PLTR has become, it's over $400 billion in market cap. You get a 9% pullback, you have to pause. You have to look at it and say, okay, there's perhaps some cracks developing under the surface here. And you look at this long-term chart, and things were relatively normal for a long time. It was moving its way higher off of 2023 lows, and it was steadily moving higher. And then it got into that bubble mentality where it just goes absolutely ape. So we have to start looking at what makes sense in terms of a pullback. If you're looking at it from a Fibonacci standpoint, you could say that we're looking at a move that could take it back down to a 38.2% level, which would be 123. Or if it's at the 50% level, you're talking about 104. Now, going back to the daily, when we're talking about those levels, 100 would be right around these channel bands here. And I don't obviously expect that to happen tomorrow, but if it was to pull back to that $100 level and give you that 50% retracement, you're starting to look at these old channel bands getting tested. If it pulls back to the 38.2% level, there's really not anything of significance at that level outside of where this support level started that I told you to pay close attention to. So when it comes to PLTR, you don't want to have rose-colored glasses on. You don't want to believe that it's always going to go up forever. This is a stock that's had an incredible run, and I'm not calling the top here by any means, but I think you do have to be careful. You do want to make sure that if you're going to play the bounce here, you're going to buy this dip at 157. You want to make sure that it's going to not only test and hold that level like what we've seen so far today, but it's also going to bounce off of that level. You need to see that confirmation. And even then, you need to have, after that bounce, you need to have a stop loss. I would probably be putting it below today's lows. After you get that bounce, put a stop loss below the lows of the day. Maybe it does go back up to 190. Maybe it goes up to 200. But you want to manage the risk in the process. And if you do that, you can stay around in this game of trading for quite some time. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, please make sure to like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below. Tell me what is your game plan with PLTR. Also, make sure to go to shareplanner.com. Check out the Self-Made Trader under the Trading Academy tab. That is my flagship course that I have dedicated my the last 4 years developing, and it teaches you everything that you need to know about trading from my 30 years of experience. Thank you guys. God bless.